Hey there! Welcome back to another episode of CelluloidNation. Once again, I'm joined with my good friend Matt, and he has a new webcam now, so things might sound a little bit different, but it's better than nothing, and I really could not do this podcast without him. It would not be the same, so really glad he's here.
Hi, thanks for having me on there. I mean, I'm fine with the audio.
Yeah.
People have a problem, tough. Tough titty, I guess. That's my blunt response, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So, as usual, we'll talk about some trailers. So let's get started with some trailer talk. Saw the teaser trailer for The Nun, and I'm going to have none of that. I'm having none of that, and the pun was intended, because, and honestly, it's true. I really don't care about The Nun. The Conjuring 2 I liked, but I didn't like as much as the first one, and The Nun was never a character where I was like, oh wow, I really want to see how that ghoul came to be. I want to see how that evil bitch, I want to see her origin story. I want to see this evil bitch nun's origin story. I don't really give a shit. I don't care. And then you have the other problem with it taking place in what, like the 1900s or something. So that doesn't do anything for me either. So if you're looking forward to it, fine, be my guest. But I'm having none of it. How about you?
I don't care. I don't give a shit. It just, I don't give a shit about the Conjuring universe. I don't give a shit about Annabelle and all this other crap.
Uh-huh.
I don't give a fuck. So The Nun can go fuck a pastor.
So
She can go fuck the son of a preacher man.
Dumbo, I don't really care about that either. I'm really sick of Disney's half-assed fucking live-action remakes of their animated movies. But Tim Burton's doing it, so... Michael Keaton's in the cast, so he was in RoboCop.
Now, Tim Burton's wife plays Dumbo, right?
I don't know. Maybe?
Helena Bonham Carter, doesn't she have big ears?
Yeah, she does. Really, I wasn't ever really that big of a fan of Dumbo to begin with. I mean, the most memorable scene in that movie is the scene where Dumbo gets high or something and starts seeing a bunch of hallucinogenic nightmares.
I like Dumbo, but here's my problem.
Uh-huh.
How is it live action when... Well, I mean, I guess there's some live action, but it's like, it's weird calling it live action adaptations. It makes more sense here than Jungle Book, but it's just... Sometimes I mean, there's live action in the trailer, but I just don't see what the need for it is. I like Dumbo. I think it's still a good flick. I think Disney just is paying for whatever easy money they can get. So let's just remake all these movies instead of original. Well, originals is a tricky word, but new endeavors.
Yeah, new endeavors.
I'm interested in new endeavors, not redone old endeavors.
Yeah, I'm not interested in reheated leftovers. See, that's how I feel about it. It's reheated leftovers.
It's overdone in the marketplace. It's overdone in the theaters. It's just too many, too much, same old shit, different day. And
yeah, there weren't that many remakes back in the 80s and 90s. There were a few of them, but it wasn't like multiple remakes and reboots every fucking year. I mean, to the point where it's just become homogenized and just repetitive. It's just totally repetitive, and it's no longer a fresh or interesting thing. It just seems like, let's just get an established audience and get more butts and seats and make a quick buck. That's it.
I get the idea that the reason they're doing it is because it's easy money. Beauty and the Beast made a lot of money.
Yeah.
these other movies. And when they try to do something different, Tron wasn't probably as huge as they thought they wanted to
Tomorrowland.
be.
Tomorrowland was a bomb.
Well, you saw that, and it didn't seem that good of a movie.
No, it wasn't, but
I say it has to
still,
be
it was.
good,
They were trying to do
but
something different, and it bombed. They
or
did
even
A Wrinkle in
animated
Time.
the
That bombed.
even back in the day, like the Black Cauldron
Yeah.
or
Or even under their
the
Touchstone
Black
label,
Hole.
Baby, Secret of Lost Legend. Yeah, Black Cauldron, The Black Hole, um, the
And some of those are good movies. I
Watcher in
mean,
the Woods.
Black Hole I liked. Baby
Watcher in the
Secret,
Woods didn't make any money
you,
either.
yeah. And some of them are good movies. The Black Hole I liked. You saw Baby Secret Lost Legend, and
Yeah, I
you saw on
liked
a
it.
Facebook post.
I mean, the
Yeah.
more I think about it, the more it's more of just an okay film, but that's better than what a lot of critics said it was. Um, I enjoyed The Black
And that's
Hole.
why But that's why they go into this as a safer bet for money. I get that it's a business, but um, I'm not in the business, so I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Why should I give a fuck? I do it
So,
for what entertains me, not a fucking shot almost beat for beat remake
well,
of
yeah,
something I
Beauty and the
already seen.
Beast was just a beat for beat remake with only a few differences. One of them
So
being
just
Gaston's friend was gay. That's really about it, and a few other stuff, like a few other differences here and there in terms of the way the Beast looks, and of course you had some of the actors singing and whatever. But it, most part, it's the same plot and the same structure. So
I just don't understand the desire
I
to
don't get it either.
do all this, the Lion King and
Well, the Lion King especially, like
Mulan.
how you can't even call that live action because there's no human
Yeah.
characters in that movie. So yeah, I don't really care about Dumbo or the Grinch. The new Grinch uh, doesn't look that interesting to me either. Um,
No.
I'm kind of curious about Unfriended too. Unfriended Dark Web. Matt pointed out to me when we were talking earlier that the trailer basically probably gave away the movie. And the more I think about it, yeah, it probably did.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was okay. They did that the first time too,
Yeah.
but I'm like, okay, maybe they'll learn their lesson. But they did it again,
Uh
and
huh.
yeah, the first film I liked because at least the plot it was a little bit different with dealing with trolls and dealing with the idea of
Yeah, I
trolling,
think
which
Unfriended is
people might
underrated.
relate
A lot of
to.
people gave it a lot of crap for having unlikable characters. Normally, I'm not into that either, but there's a reason for it in the film. It's showing and peeling away the facade that these people put up and showing them
Facade.
for who they really are. The facade, yeah, showing them for who they really are. And
Yeah,
I like that. It really made it an engaging and interesting film to watch because it's a step-by-step process, you know, and more stuff is revealed and more truths are revealed throughout this truth or dare, or mainly truth or die. So it is truth or die uh, game. And there's a supernatural aspect to it. And I love the concept of showing the from the POV of someone on the computer and everything. I thought that was really cool. They're doing that again with this, which makes me still kind of curious about it. But there doesn't seem like there's any supernatural aspect about it, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But it makes
well,
some of the
no,
stuff that they're
it's
trying to
more about
do
the
kind of strange, and like how are they going to get away with this? You know, if you don't have the supernatural aspect, so you're just going to have some kind of secret cult or something, and I guess they're going to track you.
well, it's based on. And the more info I learned about the reason it's called dark web. It's about the
Uh-huh.
deep web.
Yeah.
And for those who don't even know, the deep web is think of all the stuff on Google, YouTube. Think of it as the first line of the internet. And then you have this huge thing called the deep web where you have to have a certain IP that you find someone gives you. If you just search on Google, it'll never pop up. And
No.
that's like the biggest part of the internet. And then the more I learned, because I first thought, why isn't it called just deep web? Why is it called dark web? Well, because there's a difference. Because the dark web is the part of the deep web that has you can go and find hitmen. You can go and find drugs. You can
Yeah.
go find these things called red rooms where apparently you pay to see someone tortured in a
Uh-huh.
room. And so it's all these in the movie. I'm sure it's these hackers that can hack into your webcam and watch you through
Yeah.
your webcam. Apparently, that is a thing that can happen. And there's these stories on YouTube about people going in the deep web and the dark web part, and they get hacked, and the webcam turns on
It's
by
just
itself.
bad
And
idea. Don't go to the dark web, folks.
yeah,
Like, don't even bother going. I mean, the deep web. There's a lot of the deep web is, at least a deep portion. Journalists and things like that use it for privacy and security purposes.
yeah,
And there's a few other things
yeah,
that are on there that are fairly harmless. There's some stuff that's weird and strange, but I mean nothing that's really dangerous. But the dark web, yeah, I mean, and also you better be having a secure connection. I mean, you can get the Tor thing and go on there, but you better be having a VPN too, because otherwise, if you go in the dark web and start looking on the drug sites and all this other stuff, like the FBI will track your ass. So, I mean,
yeah.
it's not a good idea to go on there for many different reasons. There's an interesting series of videos on YouTube. I think it's called Deep Web Exploration, which is pretty fun. I haven't watched any episodes in a while, and I forgot the name of the YouTuber who did the series of videos. But I was, I've watched a few of them, and he goes on the deep web and records with his screen recorder what he's looking at and everything. And there could be some episodes that are but there's other ones where he gets into some sites where you're like, oh, this is pretty crazy. So I could see why some people would watch those videos and be like, man, I want to check it out for myself. But if you want to do that, proceed with extreme caution. But yeah. So yeah, I was wondering why it's called dark web too. Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, the trailer gives away a lot, but I don't know. I guess the first one did, so we'll see. I mean, I have MoviePass, so I might see it in the theater, because it's a MoviePass thing. I'm not paying full price, but I don't have a lot of high hopes for it, but I didn't think it looked terrible. See, that's my thing. I thought it looked okay from the trailer and maybe worth a watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just with that concept, I know you thought so too. The other movie that looks more interesting is Searching with
Yes.
John Cho.
Yes, I mean, the second trailer just came out like a few days ago, and it was really a well done second trailer, which once again didn't give away everything. I love the advertising for Searching. It's just enough to get you really interested and intrigued in the film. So yeah, I think Unfriended Dark Web, it does not help that Searching is also coming out. Really, that does not do it any favors.
And for those who don't know what Searching is, what's sort of the plot of it?
Searching.
I mean, I know it, but it's
Searching
sort of
stars it's John M. Chu, right? And
John Cho.
John Cho. Sorry, I get those two confused.
John M. Chu, that's a director.
I know. Damn it.
The G.I. Joe section.
So
Okay.
John Chu. Sorry. Fuck.
John Cho. It's John Cho from Harold and Kumar.
Yeah, Harold and Kumar. Yeah.
He also plays Sulu in the new Star Trek.
Yeah, so
movie.
John Cho, he's the lead in this, and he's looking for his daughter who went missing, and he's looking through her computer and all of her other stuff like that, and he's finding a lot of different stuff through his research that is troubling. Like there might have been some part of his daughter that he didn't know about, and that might have led to her disappearance, and it just becomes this mystery that unravels throughout the entirety of the film. And there's a very heavy social media aspect to it, as with the computers and with webcams and other stuff like that. So a lot of it's like a serious take on a serious thriller take on the dark web sort of elements, mixed in with a little bit of Unfriended in terms of the approach that the film has, because there's a lot of POV stuff. in it. Well, it seems like it because that's what you see in the trailer.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of John Cho. I think he does a good job. I'm glad he gets a role like this because sadly, folks like that don't get a lot of roles like that, and
Yeah, he's also
I
typecast.
look forward to it.
He's
I'm
been
not let down.
typecast. He's been typecast as as Harold by a lot of people.
Well, even before that, when he had his part in American Pie,
Yeah.
a small part in American Pie. But yeah, I look forward to that. It's one of the only films I look forward to. Probably won't be in the theater near here. I would almost guarantee it'll probably have a limited release, so of course, but oh well. I'm not surprised. But I mean, that comes in, I think, August.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
Yeah, it's in August.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's in August. Alpha is a film that Sony's doing that I think is going to be a gigantic bomb. Nobody I know cares. They don't care about this movie. It takes place in the Stone Age or something with some little kid and like his dog or something. Like this reminds me of 10,000 BC, and that's not a good thing. That's never a good thing.
I've never even heard of the film, so there you go. I've never even heard of the movie, so
yeah. Then we have Creed 2. It's very fitting that the picture that's shown on the icon for the trailer is Creed getting punched in the face.
A knockout.
Yeah, knockout blow. Because that's how I feel. I'm just fucking sick and tired of this franchise. I really am. Like Creed, I liked it more than Matt did initially, and then that's a film that just does not age well, does not hold up well at all, especially in comparison to the other Rocky films, because it's just rehashing way too many things from Rocky Balboa, Rocky 5, Rocky 2, just rehashing way too many things to the point where it just doesn't even feel like it's fresh. It's more rotten than anything else. And then Creed 2, and you don't even see Dolph Lundgren in the trailer, which makes me think he's not going to be in it that much. Stallone is barely in it too, which makes me leery, just like you are, that possibly they could be killing Rocky off, which I gotta say, fuck that bullshit. I hate that idea.
I said this, I guarantee you, either in this one or Creed 3, which maybe they'll wait for Creed 3 because, hey, Rocky 3, Mickey died in Rocky 3. So
why do we need to do that?
But two or three is going to be. I can 99% sure.
And I'm shocked that Stallone's even agreeing
to... 100%, you never know, but...
I'm shocked that he'd even agree to that, considering how much he was fighting to redo.
The guy did Escape Plan 2, which you saw.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I'm just trying to think. I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. You know, this is the same guy who did Rocky Balboa because he wanted to give the franchise a proper send off. You know, and that was in what 2006.
He said that's the Creed. Rocky got cancer.
So it was only like 10 or so years ago. Like, how did his mindset change so goddamn much in the span of like a little bit over a decade? It's shocking. Astonishing.
Well, why did he say no to Romancing the Stone and instead did Rhinestones? I love Stallone, but sometimes he makes, in my opinion, poor choices.
Yeah.
Why do Escape Plan 2 and 3? Instead of a Jackie Chan film.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Or
and
Hunter,
I've seen Escape Plan 2, folks. It is a total pile of flaming garbage. Escape Plan 2, Hades, the title is fitting because it's straight out of direct-to-video hell. Stallone should have had an escape plan from starring or being a part of Escape Plan 2. It's that awful. It's got disastrous direction. The director has no idea what the fuck he's doing. He's trying to be artsy but doesn't know how to do it properly, so it just comes across as being incompetent. He's shaking the camera around in fight scenes, quick cut editing. There are random scenes of dialogue where the camera is bobbing up and down like it's sucking dick. You have other scenes where it's just Stallone talking to 50 Cent.
Well, it makes sense because the director sucks.
Yeah. The cameras,
The director
the
sucks
other
dick,
scenes
so
were 50
what's the
Cent.
motion he knows the most?
Yeah. You have other scenes
He
where
knows the bob and head motion. He's
uh,
used to sucking dick, the
yeah,
director.
he totally is. That for the
Stephen
director.
C. Miller, C stands for cocksucker.
So
Steve C. Miller, the C stands for cocksucker. So used to that motion in the ocean of bobbing his fucking heads because he's such a dick in directing movies, and his movies suck dick. Have you seen Automaton Transfusion, folks? It's such dick. Shit he does with Bruce Willis, they suck dick. Now Stallone,
yeah. So
who's not in the star, I guess. I
yeah.
haven't seen the film, folks. It got. I know some people saw it. They were telling me it got leaked online. I didn't see it. I can't watch stuff online. There's internet on here. So I'm not really wanting to pay fucking $4 to rent it. I don't want to waste my money. So
Don't worry
anytime
about
soon,
that.
folks.
Your
Sorry.
dealer is going to supply you with the goods.
I always love the dealer.
But yeah, the direction, it's terrible. There's a dialogue scene between 50 Cent and Stallone, and the camera is spinning around like it's on a sit and spin. I have no idea why it's even doing that. It's not even really Stallone's film. It's this other Asian guy who can't act. Then he barely shows up in it. He's in it for a few scenes, and a lot of his dialogue is terrible.
They should have had Bobby Lee
Yeah.
see that part.
For the most part, he's just saying his lines are just awful. He's saying things like, "I'm stupid." Like, yeah, you're stupid for taking this role. Yeah, it's really dumb, Stallone. And the creme de la creme, where there's a scene in a bar where Batista and Stallone shoot a bunch of guys, and it's not much, trust me. And Batista's like,
I believe it.
"It's good to be back," and then Stallone's like, "Nah, it's bad to be back." I was just, oh god, it was so bad. It's such a cringe one-liner. It's every bit as lazy and awful as that one-liner in Escape Plan before he blows up the bad guy, where he goes boom. So it's fitting. Escape Plan 2 has
You're just
another
doing the sound effect.
Yeah, I know.
It's not even the line. You're just doing a sound effect like. Psh. Is that one liner? Or bang.
Man. But really, whenever you get around to seeing Escape Plan 2, you'll see that and you'll be like, wow, I don't like Escape Plan, but I'd rather be watching that than this. It's that bad.
Probably, yeah. I can see that. But Escape Plan still sucks. And Creed still sucks. And Creed 2 looks like Rocky 3 and 4 put together.
Yeah. It's Rocky 4 Redux. Or redo. I don't even really care about...
I mentioned Rocky 3. I mentioned Rocky 3 because the guy gets beat up.
Yeah.
And then he's got to get the Eye of the Tiger back.
Yeah.
And then Rocky 4 with another Drago. Why?
I have no idea.
Why?
This entire plot
What's the point?
screams Rocky fan fiction. This is the type of shit that was parodied and laughed at and poked fun at and people didn't take seriously years ago. And now people are taking this seriously and like saying this is going to be great. To each their own. I have no issue with anybody who's looking forward to it. I think it's going to be good, but this is just a fucking fan fiction. This is a Rocky fan fiction. This is some Apollo Creed super fan decided to write some series of films featuring his son. This is the type of shit you'd see direct to video back in the day as like a spin-off of Kickboxer or Bloodsport, like Bloodsport 2, 3, or 4, or fucking Kickboxer sequels with some brother of Van Damme's character that the writers pull out of their ass. But this is getting a theatrical release because the first film was a surprise hit.
It's not just fan fiction. because I've read fan fiction. Fan fiction can actually be pretty good. It's shitty fan fiction.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
like Star Wars Last Jedi is a
yeah,
really big shitty fan fiction.
yeah,
That's like the fan fiction that people put themselves in as the character and want to have sex with
yeah,
the characters. Like
yeah.
that kind
Shipping.
of
Yeah,
shitty fan fiction. This this is shitty fan fiction
I agree.
that you can dump in fucking
And
ditch
honestly, it looked like
and on a dead man.
it looked like a direct-to-video film to me. Like the cinematography, everything just looked cheap. I don't know.
You're not the first person that said that. Other people in the comments section of reviews said it looked like a directed video movie too.
It does.
You're not the only one that said that.
I mean, I've seen better
Oh, he's boxing
cinematography.
underwater. The character can fucking drown for all I care.
Yeah, I've seen.
Fuck
I've
the
seen.
character. I
I've
have nothing
seen.
against the actor.
Yeah,
It's
I've
the
nothing
character
against
that
Michael B.
sucks.
Jordan. I just Creed's. His character is a spoiled rich boy. I don't really care. He was a spoiled rich boy in Creed, and he's a spoiled rich boy in Creed 2. Nothing has changed. Oh, he has a kid. So, and he boxes underwater. Wow. What does
So
that have
did
to do
Van
with the
Damme. He kicked underwater.
Yeah, what does that have to do with the quality of the film? There's a training scene where he's boxing underwater. What? How is that even going to help him fight Drago?
I saw
Is
I
he
saw
fighting
Van
Drago
Damme
underwater?
kick underwater and kickboxer.
Yeah. Is this going to be? Is he
So
going
I've
to fight
seen it before.
Aquaman
And I don't know
next? Is he
if like
training
the
to
Son of
fight
Clubber
Aquaman?
Lang. The
Sorry, I'm sorry, folks. Like our connection is a little bit off, so I just keep talking over. So say what you're gonna say, so I don't keep talking over you.
No, I was just you don't fight the Son of Clubber Lang after this.
Little T. Oh shit. But yeah, I don't look forward to it. Even the boxing scenes don't look that great. Honestly, there's been direct-to-video sequels that looked better and had better production values, like the Undisputed sequels, and those actually have good fight scenes.
Yeah, I like those movies. I like Undisputed 2 and 3. And yeah, they have well done fight sequences. The cast works well. Michael Jai White in Undisputed 2.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Adkins, he's kind of a villain in 3, and he's the lead in no, he's kind of the villain in 2, and he's the lead in part 3.
Yep.
And I thought he actually did a pretty good job of it. And this though, if you look forward to the film, that's fine. But at the same time, you also get these people that this is not for everyone, but like one comment I got, and this is how dumb this person is. Oh, so you just hate all Stallone films that feature a black person.
Oh, that's so stupid. That's so dumb.
And I'm like,
What about
I guess
Lockup?
Billy D. Williams is white.
Lockup. Lockup has Frank McRae in it in the cast. Yeah, Billy D. Williams and Nighthawks.
Demolition Man has Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, Rocky 2, and Rocky 3, Rocky 4, Rocky 5.
Well, I guess Carl Weathers isn't black.
Yeah, apparently Carl Weathers isn't black or Tony Burton.
But again, that's sometimes
Or Mr.
not all,
T.
folks, not all. Well, yeah, this is not all, folks, but this is some of the
Or the people who are like, you're not a true Stallone fan. You're not a real Stallone fan because you aren't supporting Creed 2 or Escape Plan 2 or any of this. And I'm like, that's bullshit. You know what? I'm a Stallone fan that has standards then, okay? I have standards that I want Stallone to uphold. And that's not bad. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. Stallone I love him. He's one of my all-time favorite actors. He's an inspiration to me, and always will be. But his track record lately has been shit, and I'm not gonna just
You
eat
know
it
what I
up.
support? I support Stallone doing interesting or intriguing or cool or
Worthwhile
kick-ass
projects.
or badass roles or movies. Hunter, Isobar, film with Jackie Chan, the fucking film
Ex
that
Baghdad.
back in the day he was going to do a film about the Tupac.
Yeah.
Well, no, the other one, there was going to be a film with Tupac Murr.
Uh
Now
huh.
they're doing a film with Johnny Depp and Forrest Whitaker dealing with
Yeah,
that.
he was gonna do
Could have had
something.
Stallone in that.
Yeah, and I remember hearing he was gonna do wanted to do some like drama about like a mob thing or something. I would have rather seen that too. I wonder what happened to that. There was some mob drama that he was attached to that never got made or didn't uh, get to the production process or anything.
It's almost like he got scared and is just going back to safety nets of sequels and franchises,
Yeah,
which I don't want to see because
me
they've already
neither.
been done and they ended well. You don't need to keep ruining franchises. That's what Hollywood does. He's ruining franchises. Alien, Predator, Star Trek, Star Wars, Turtles, RoboCop, Ghostbusters. How many more? Now you got Rocky. They kill Captain Kirk. They kill Ellen Ripley. They kill Luke Skywalker. Now they want to kill Rocky Balboa.
Part of me's
And
thinking
yet we're
that
supposed to cheer.
is this whole thing where killing the heroes
Bullshit.
is a popular thing because of Logan? Is that what it is? Like, are studios trying to capture Logan's success, like recapture that? But for me, Logan, I would have rather him not have died in the first place. So, but if you're going to use that
Yeah,
as an
but then
example,
they
Logan earned something like that because it was years and years and years of stuff, and it was in essence a spin-off. This is just, and at least he died honorably. Rocky just dying of cancer that he beat in the previous film would not be an honorable death. And why does he have to die? Why can't
well
he
they
just
don't
go
they
off
don't
into the sunset? Why can't he just retire or something and go stay with his son?
because they want to keep making Creed films, but they know Stallone won't be in a number amount of Creed films. Because MGM, which I'm surprised is still around.
Yeah.
What other
I
films do
wouldn't be
they have?
surprised if Disney ends up buying out MGM next. It's not like Disney would have to spend that much. Really. All things considered.
If I with that, surprised Netflix then isn't buying them or something.
Yeah. Or Comcast.
I
Comcast would
just,
be like, we
I
lost out on
just,
Fox, let's buy MGM.
it, I'm just, I mean, even before Logan, yeah, they killed Captain Kirk off and
Yeah.
Generations. They killed Ripley off,
Uh-huh.
and it's a stupid decision. It's a worthless fucking movie. You ended it with Rocky Balboa. It would have been perfectly fine.
And I
Do your
agree
own
with you
fucking
too with
boxing
Rocky
movies. You saw
Balboa.
one called Southpaw.
Yeah. Southpaw was great. I love that movie. And it didn't get that much in the box office. Critics slammed it hard and praised the hell out of Creed, and I didn't get it. Southpaw is a much better film. And if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it to anybody who's listening. Um, Powerhouse performance by Jake Gyllenhaal. But with the stuff with the franchises and stuff like that, um, it's one of those things where with Creed and with Creed 2, each successive sequel to Rocky is just really ruining the legacy for me. I feel that it should have ended after Rocky Balboa. It's a perfect way to end the franchise. And Rocky Balboa is I would say, I would argue it's underrated now because it seems like it's being forgotten about. Like, more people are latching on to Creed, and Rocky Balboa has some of the most memorable and iconic quotes out there. Some just wonderful words of wisdom and inspiration. The speech where he talks about, ain't about how hard you hit, It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. I've used that for many times in my life. I used that for inspiration when I got hit by a car and I recovered really quickly and was able to finish my term at Clark College and pass on my classes, despite the fact that I got hit by a car. I used that quote and said it to my stepbrother Dylan while he was in a halfway house because he was dealing with a prison term, and I met up with my dad recently this year. He's been out for a while, and he's got a girlfriend now, and he's got a grandson, and he's really turned his life around. And he was telling my dad that quote that I told him over the phone one night is something that really stuck with him. So there you go. There's proof that Rocky Balboa has such a powerful resonance with a lot of people, especially that quote. There's nothing like that in Creed. There's going to be nothing like that in Creed 2. The story isn't going to be much of anything that really is a story that needs to be told. Oh, he's going to get revenge for his father. Didn't Rocky already fucking do that in Rocky 4? Wasn't that the whole thing? It was all about revenge. It's personal. You know, you're going to die out there, Rocky. What are you doing? You know, it's like, you don't understand. You know, I got to fight. I got to do this. And, you know, it's so that doesn't matter now? All that's out the window? Because Creed's son's got to get the revenge? Like, I don't understand. Revenge was already obtained when Rocky beat Drago in Russia in Rocky 4. So you're going to unravel and undo Rocky 4 now. I'm not a fan of that idea. And then the whole rehashing other elements from the other films. He's in the hospital, just like Rocky was in Rocky 2. In the beginning, you rehashed Rocky 2 and Creed with Rocky being sick. So now you reverse the roles, and now you have Creed being the one in the hospital. Then you have the Rocky 4 elements because it's Drago's son. It's just I don't get it. It's just every bit as pointless of a sequel and a story to tell as the new Halloween or any of these other sequels for the most part they're coming out, except for rare exceptions like something like Mission Impossible, Fallout. But with Fallout, that is a proven track record. The last Mission Impossible movie was my favorite Mission Impossible movie to date. I loved it. I loved Rogue Nation. So it's one of those things that, yeah, I really do feel that that's a franchise that's getting better as it goes on, and I've already seen the results of. I can't say the same about Creed or any of these other Stallone sequels. Expendables 3 was shit. Escape Plan 2 is shit. I mean, that's so bad, it's better than Expendables 3. I mean, Expendables 3 is better. So bad, it's fucking up my brain cells. Apparently, watching Creed get punched in the face is, you know, it's like I'm getting punched in the face repeatedly, losing some brain cells, so I better stop. But, yeah, I don't really give a shit about Creed 2. I don't really care about it when it was announced. And I care even less about it with this trailer, which does absolutely nothing for me, except make me want to skip it. I'll just check it out on home video or something. Or pirate the fuck out of it. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to support it. I'm not giving my money to that. I don't want to support these lazy, rehashed, fucking, reheated fucking leftovers from the 80s and 90s. I'm done. I was done after Ballbusters in 2016. So then we have some news. I want to mention the fact that Roseanne is actually going to get the spinoff. ABC is moving forward with the spinoff, The Connors, like you were saying. Just make a new show called The Connors. And that's what they're doing. They're making a new spinoff called The Connors. It's going to center around John Goodman's character, Dan, and the rest of the family. Probably going to heavily focus on Sarah Gilbert, which is fine because I liked her story arc the most anyway out of the new season. a lot of people are already saying things like, this is stupid, this is a dumb idea because the show was all about Roseanne, and Roseanne's the only reason why it was any good. And I gotta be honest, folks, I've been rewatching the original series on Amazon, and I rewatched season 1, and I haven't finished watching season 2, but I've started it up. And Roseanne Barr is my least favorite part of Roseanne. I like it. I love Dan. I love Dan Connor. I love John Goodman's character and his performance in it. I like Sarah Gilbert and Michael Fishman and Leslie Goranson and Laurie Metcalf. Those are the characters that I really like in that show. Roseanne, for the most part, is loud, obnoxious, brash, and annoying. And there's a few instances where she says a few lines that I crack up at and has a few sweet scenes and moments with Dan. But for the most part, she's just annoying and seems to just take it out on everybody, gets away with it, and rarely ever gets her just desserts. Unlike in Married with Children, you have a dynamic where you have Al Bundy is chewing out Peg, but she's chewing him even harder back, you know, or just as hard. So sometimes there's that dynamic between Dan and Roseanne, but a lot of times she just steamrolls over him and you just feel sorry for Dan. You're watching the show and you're just like, why are they even together? So but I'm curious about this spinoff. I am, and I'm really glad that a lot of the people who worked on the show that was canceled because of Roseanne's stupidity are getting their jobs back. And that's good news to me. We'll see how long it lasts, but I'm definitely going to check it out this fall because it's going to air this fall, and I'm really curious to see what they're going to do. Are they going to do something? Because I remember reading something where Roseanne, she still has rights for her character and a few other things, and to be able to do other spin-offs of the character. So, but she agreed that they were going to do the spin-off. They agreed to let them do the spinoff. Her name's going to be in the credits as an executive producer, but she's not really that involved at all. It's just a formality thing. You know how John Carpenter had his name as executive producer in like the Fog remake, right? Wasn't his name on there or something like that? It's just a formality. That's really all it is. But other than that, she's just staying away from it. And I'm curious to see what they're going to do. Are they going to kill her off? Is she going to go get admitted to a institution? I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Is she going to get sent into a coma? We'll see what happens.
I didn't watch much of it, so can't say anything good or bad. But I mean, yeah, it's nice that the actors like John Goodman are getting more work, and I think I even said before, maybe if there was a way, maybe I would give the show more of a shot since she's not on it. So
you'll be the rare person to be like, "This is better." Now this is more like it.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis did another direct-to-video movie apparently called Reprisal.
The new Steven Seagal.
Yes, he is. He really is turning into the new
It's
Steven Seagal.
Bruce Willis.
He seems to be a dick.
He just needs to get fatter.
He's a dick to people, and he's starring into a bunch of shitty direct-to-video movies.
He just needs to get fatter. It'll be the new Steven Seagal.
I would not be surprised, because he doesn't seem to give a shit. Stop going to the gym, starting eating a bunch of fucking double-decker burgers and shit, and Big Macs, and large fries. Then you'll see in Taco Bell, and then you'll see a direct-to-video film in the future where Bruce Willis is sitting in a car, and there's Taco Bell wrappers on the dashboard. And an empty bucket of KFC. I don't want that to happen because I like Bruce Willis, but I like Seagal too, but apparently he's always been an asshole. Like, have you seen the interview he did on Arsenio Hall back in the 90s?
Yeah.
He was an asshole then, and he's an asshole now.
Yeah.
The interview he did where he's talking, one guy's talking about Michael J. White, and he's like, "May I laugh in your face?" Ha ha ha.
Yeah, I remember that.
The only thing that's laughable is your fucking
I remember
career
that, yeah.
right now, Seagal, and your waistline. Michael J. White would kick your ass, and you know it. Daria reboots. Yes, MTV is rebooting Daria. They're also rebooting The Real World and Aeon Flux. But what I've heard about this reboot is from someone on Facebook who is one of their friends is actually related to the creator of Daria. From what I've heard is the creator's not even involved at all with the reboot. So,
of course.
So for that,
that's why you're doing all these reboots, but you didn't try to continue Beavis and Butthead.
well,
Which
the thing
when it
is,
came back, I liked it.
yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I think what happened is,
And then
is
they fucking
this.
cancel it, but now they're doing these 3 fucking reboots.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I remember reading somewhere what happened was this. It was Mike Judge. Mike Judge and MTV had a falling out, and that's why there wasn't any more seasons. Because the ratings, from what I read, were good enough for another season of Beavis and Butthead. But MTV and Mike Judge had some falling out. I don't know what that was, and that's why there wasn't another season. But Mike Judge has expressed interest in maybe doing it on another platform, so I would love to see new seasons on Netflix or some other streaming platform like that. I think that could be really cool.
Why can't we get a movie of that? Why can't we get another movie?
Yeah. Well, MTV, to be honest...
Beavis and Butthead Do America is a great movie.
Yeah, I'd love to see them do a Liquid Television reboot. Do more Liquid Television. They did it briefly online, but it was not on the network. For me, MTV is not the same. It hasn't been the same for a long time. The people
there's no music.
No, it's not just that, but
For music television, there's no fucking music.
the edge. The
That's when
edge
you know
that
they
they
lost their
had.
fucking minds.
The edge that they had in the 90s is gone. And they're them trying to bring back Daria and all this other stuff isn't going to help, because I guarantee they're going to make some politically correct, shitty fucking version of the show, and it's not going to go over well with the fans.
It's the age of PC.
Yeah. Well, I mean, MTV's the network that did, they had that YouTube video that was a total disaster, that was just a total social justice warrior shit fest, and MTV's a joke. The MTV of the 90s would look at the MTV of now and just laugh at it and scoff and make fun of it. And then if you were to tell the MTV of the 90s that this is what MTV would be in the future, they'd be like, no, really, seriously. And then the realization would set in, and they're like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Are you serious? Is this really what's going to happen to our studio? Is this what's going to happen in the future?
Yeah, they want to be more like the fucking Disney Channel.
It's
so
sad.
Talk about PC. They want to be more like the Disney Channel.
It's
not
so
MTV.
sad. MTV used
This
to
is
be
fucking
cool.
channel used to have Dennis
Folks,
Leary talking shit.
yeah. Matt and I remember when MTV was cool, okay? MTV is not cool anymore.
Yeah.
MoviePass.
Dennis Leary talking shit, Liquid
Yeah.
Television, Beavis and Butthead, crazy cartoons, and hardcore music videos. You actually had music
Yeah.
and music videos. God forbid.
Yeah. I don't even know why they call themselves
15
MTV
fucking
anymore.
Reality shows.
There's no music. There's no music anymore. Why are you even calling yourself MTV? It's like the comedy. It's like if the Comedy Central no longer had comedy on it and was still calling themselves the Comedy Central. So MoviePass is not making a lot of money, which I'm not surprised by. The thing is, though, doesn't necessarily mean the death knell, because Netflix wasn't making money and still isn't really making that much of a profit. Like, Netflix is in the red, but Netflix is still running because They have a lot of other things that are helping it out. So we'll see what happens with MoviePass. I like my MoviePass. I know they've announced that they might be doing some new stuff, like charge users like $2 extra, and you can do IMAX and 3D, and have an option to buy a ticket for a friend, which is really cool. If they go through with that, the whole taking picture of a ticket. That was a random thing. That wasn't something that was chosen for everybody. They were testing it out because there were people that were abusing the system, which that's just fucked up. I mean, don't be the guy who's using. I mean, who can ruin it for everybody by using the MoviePass card to pay for your concessions and pay for an IMAX ticket or a 3D. Stop doing that. Stop being a dick. I mean,
Wait
really.
a minute. How do you use that to pay concessions?
I guess they just were just
How do they do that?
cheating around. I mean, maybe they didn't pay to use concessions, but I mean they used it to also load up on rewards points. So I think I think that's how they were able to pay for concessions, because they used their MoviePass to be able to also get rewards points for their Regal or whatever, or some of this other stuff. But that's not necessarily the biggest issue. The biggest issue is the ones that are using it and abusing it to pay for IMAX and 3D, that kind of stuff. So I think what they do is they pay for a regular ticket, and then they pay a little bit extra so they can upgrade, but they don't use the card to upgrade.
This is a dumb idea, but let me throw it out there. Because why not? If you're a guy that goes to a theater often, I think it'd be cool if they have another card that is for concessions.
Yeah.
That you pay a low price per month, and then you can get whatever, like, popcorn soda you want.
That would be a good
idea. So
idea.
You get the biggest popcorn, the biggest soda.
Yeah.
But you pay like a small amount per month. I don't know how it works.
I would think that would be a good idea.
That's just one of the things. Concessions are so high.
Yeah, that would be a good idea for the theater to do. Like the theater chain can have something like that, or roll it out and test it out. Yeah, I think that's a good idea for the theater chain. Speaking of popcorn, my friend Jonathan and I went and saw Upgrade. The best thing about that was we tried the Cheetos popcorn. Folks, it's amazing. What it is you have popcorn and they have Cheetos dust on it, but they also put Cheetos in it, and they're warm because everything else is warm around it. And I'm telling you, warm Cheetos are spectacular, man. They're just a flavor explosion. It's amazing. It's crazy how much just the warming up the Cheetos makes them even more amazing, and it makes them even more cheesy and delicious. It's great. It's expensive, but it's worth a shot.
I wonder if they would do that with Doritos. Like Dorito dust, or like actual nacho cheese.
Well, I know they did
Dorito flavored.
They did the Dorito tacos.
Instead of butter, you put cheese.
They did the Dorito tacos at Taco Bell. I wasn't too big on them, for me, but that's just me personally. I know a lot of people are a lot of fans of them, but the problem with the ones that I've had, the Dorito Locos tacos, is that they're kind of They're crumbly. Like the taco itself isn't thick enough, so that was an issue for me personally. And speaking of issues, Disney has actually they're denying this. This was widely reported that the Star Wars spin-offs are on hold, but now they're trying to push back, and they're denying it. They're being like, no, they're not really, but they're in the works, but they're on ice. Which I'm like, that's just the same thing. You said they're on hold.
Delayed.
Yeah, they're delayed. But, they're setting these films aside. But now, they're saying yesterday's story was premature and speculative. Lucasfilm has told ABC News that there are still multiple Star Wars films currently in development and have not been officially announced. Those projects are moving forward separate from an already announced Star Wars trilogy being overseen by Rian Johnson, and another series of movies from the Game of Thrones producers David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. I don't care about Game of Thrones, so I don't give a shit about their version of Star Wars. So it is true still. They've put Boba Fett and Obi-Wan on ice. But they're moving forward with Rian Johnson's trilogy. Great, the fucking troll. Let him fucking do a trilogy. It's almost worse. It's like Boba Fett and Obi-Wan probably were gonna suck, but you know what? I was more curious about an Obi-Wan prequel or to see if they can make Boba Fett cool than Rian Johnson's fucking trilogy. Now they're doubling down on Rian Johnson. They're doubling down on that dickhead.
Because Disney is fucking joke nowadays. Fucking joke.
Yeah.
They feel that because Joe's supposed to be funny, and they're not fucking losers. Just flat out fucking losers now.
Yeah, I agree.
Hope someone buys out Disney.
Never gonna happen. Because Disney, they just bought Fox.
Maybe Donald Trump.
We're gonna in the future.
When he's out of office, he'll buy Disney.
In the future, we're just gonna have Disney owning everything. I would not be surprised if it's just Disney owning every single fucking company in Hollywood, and it's a fucking shit show of epic proportions. Mass hysteria. Yes, they're making another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. And it's still produced by Michael Bay. And I know there's a lot of people who will be like, well, hey, you know, the trailer hasn't come out yet. You know, you can't really say anything. And I can... This is my rebuttal. Bullshit. Okay, the track record speaks for itself. All right? Michael Bay producing Ninja Turtles movies has been a fucking abomination, has been abysmal, has been atrocious, has been embarrassing, has been pathetic, and has been all kinds of fucking awful. So why would I think for a second that the new TMNT produced by them, by his company or by him, would be any different? It's not going to be. Our luck, we're gonna get a spin-off with fucking Megan Fox's April.
An Arrow guy.
Yeah.
With a shitty crew cut haircut.
Wannabe Chris O'Donnell.
But that's an insult to Chris O'Donnell. But it's...
I feel Matt's pain. Like, this is how I felt about RoboCop for many, many, many years. Ever since RoboCop 3. It's just been varying degrees of shit. And I want it to end. And thankfully it has temporarily. But yeah.
The definition of insanity is, well, in a way it's shit, in a different way, which you'll get to.
Yeah.
Just in a different way, which Mike will get to.
Yeah, I'll get to soon enough. Yeah.
They were fucked up way. But I was saying, and I said this in my videos, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Michael Bay had 2 chances to produce Ninja Turtle films, and they failed.
And he blew it!
You blew it. You had Mikey farting on his brother's faces. You had Bebop and Rocksteady checking out their dicks. You had Tyler fucking Perry. You had this Prude Cub wannabe cop motherfucker who's Casey Jones in name only. Who, Bebop and Rocksteady in the film. Yeah, they fought the Turtles, for 30 seconds? And they got beat by a fucking cop with skates on. Not the Turtles. But yeah, people are like, yay! And I'm like,
and those people, they give, and a lot of those people, they give Token Razor shit. At least Token Razor did more in Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze.
The Turtles actually beat them.
Yeah.
The Turtles actually beat them and fought them.
Yeah.
They didn't even do that. They got beat by this wannabe crew cut wearing GQ wannabe
On the
motherfucker
fucking
who should stick with
rollerblades.
CW, WB, and UPN, and motherfucker other reject channels.
On rollerblades.
So the turtles didn't even fight them. Yeah, let's not have more shorts and movie with Ninja in it. Let's have Shredder do absolutely jack shit of nothing but show his face. Let's have Crane be a fucking dick on a stick. And I don't even know.
Well, I mean, it's
A
not
lot of
just
fans really like this one.
it's not just the recent live action films, with the ninja chuds.
I know.
The cartoons as well. The recent Turtles cartoons. The
Shit
first
was
Nickelodeon
so
cartoon apparently was okay according to you in like the first couple seasons, but then it started to go off the rails, and even
the fucking ending is a fucking reject Mad Max Fury Road where it's an apocalypse.
and then
Well,
the new
what was the
series
point of fighting in the first?
Rise of TMNT looks just about as shitty as any of these Michael Bay Ninja Chud films. I mean, the designs are awful. It looks cheap. Cal Arts, not necessarily Cal Arts style, but flash animation. The turtles, let's take away a lot more of the ninja aspects and make it more of their fucking superheroes, because that was great in the Michael Bay version.
I had one guy tell me the animation was as good as Johnny Bravo. I literally have had that comment. I'm like,
I would say Johnny Bravo had better animation. And Johnny Bravo isn't even like the greatest animated series out there in terms of animation style, but still has better animation than that.
It was a fun show.
Yeah, it's a fun show.
Too.
I enjoyed that one.
God damn, man. This fucking... Yeah, and it's from the writer of Bad Words.
A film with Jason Bateman that nobody fucking remembers. I think I had that on my early flash drive before it crashed, and I'd never watched it. And I haven't bothered to. I barely remember
because it seemed like it was like a wannabe bad teacher, which was a wannabe bad Santa, and Bad Santa was better than either one.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just one of those things where, I mean, if you're looking forward to the new Turtles, to each their own, I'm done. I'm done like I was with RoboCop. Like, I was done with RoboCop after RoboCop 3. I mean, yeah, Richard Eden tried his best in the series, but there's still a lot of embarrassing, lame-ass shit in that series. And there were a few episodes that were decent, but overall, it's not really that great of a show. And then you have, thankfully, things have postponed temporarily, but I heard about the reboot or the sequel that takes place after the first one, where we're going to ignore RoboCop 2, which I'm like, oh, fuck off with that bullshit. I hope that's not a new trend. It could easily be a new trend. Halloween is a success, and all these other ones. Just watch. That'll be the new trend. Doing sequels that are ignoring the other ones. Let's do a sequel to Jaws 60 years later or something. 50 years later, and ignore 2, 3, and 4.
I can see that happening. I really can. I really can.
So see that happening with
RoboCop. I would
RoboCop,
not be surprised.
Because that's what they'll try to do, another sequel to RoboCop, but it takes place 40 years later, so they're doing the same thing that Halloween is doing, but this time it's with RoboCop.
RoboCop Returns.
I'm not looking forward to that if they do end up doing that. And with the Turtles, the best thing I've seen so far is not even related to this Michael Bay stuff. It's related to the original designs or the 1990s Turtles, like the NECA toys that sold out immediately because they were like exclusives and like limited editions. But looking at the photos, they look fantastic. They look really cool. And I'm like,
Yeah,
that's the turtles that I remember. Those are the turtles that's the best looking turtles. And in the game, the Mortal Kombat game, right? Wasn't a Mortal Kombat game, I think, that came out recently.
Injustice.
Injustice, from the same guys who did Mortal Kombat, if I remember correctly. So it's a DC game. They had the turtles in there, and what did they look like? What were their designs more similar to? The 80s cartoon and the 90s,
1990.
the 1990s live action series of films, the 1990 film and the sequel, Secret of the Ooze. They didn't look like the fucking Ninja Chuds. Although they look like that in Ready Player One for some reason, but that's a whole nother story. But
Well, because Steven Spielberg is best friends with Michael Bay.
well, yeah, but I also don't think that this reboot
because he
will get
produced
things.
the first Transformers.
They might change the designs, but I don't think they're gonna get the brotherly dynamic, the family dynamic correct. They're gonna throw in the stupid kids jokes, farts, and whatever. I guarantee it, because for some reason the Turtles are just considered to be a kids franchise. It's just for kids. Even though the reason why it's lasted for as long as it has is because of the adult fans. I mean, why does it have a legacy?
Honestly, that's one of the reasons why they've consistently failed through many of the stuff.
Yeah.
Is they don't realize that. So you get consistent failure. Like I said, what's insanity? You keep doing the same thing, yet you expect a different result.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to keep doing the same thing because they're limited. Hollywood is limited in imagination. We've seen this so many times.
Well, I mean, we can go back to the Fright Night remake, where there was a cool idea for the remake that was meta, and it was about Chris Sarandon, actual Chris Sarandon, teaming up with a kid who saw a vampire, and then you have this whole sort of meta thing with the Fright Night franchise. And that idea was turned down in favor of the Dude Bro Vampire Massacre remake that we got, because the producer didn't fucking get it, because he's a fucking dumbass. So that's back in 2011, folks. Sadly, not much has changed.
No.
If you want to get some kind of unique or somewhat unique ideas, it happens in the independent film arena nowadays. Direct-to-video or in limited theatrical release. And I don't want to hear any more about A24. A24 can get a -24 for all I care. There are a few instances where they did some decent stuff, but I don't care what kind of shit I'm going to get. I think that is right now one of the most overrated film studios out there. They make horror films for hipsters, and I'm glad the hipsters enjoy it, but I can't stand a lot of the horror films. They're fucking pretentious as fuck. They're boring. They're overrated. They keep getting advertised as being the greatest horror film in decades, and they never live up to it. You have Hereditary, which has some good acting by Toni Collette, and it was worth watching for that, but it's boring. It's slow paced. Its attempts at being scary I'd seen done in other movies, and it really wasn't anywhere near as shocking as the critics were saying it was before it came out, when people were running out of the theater or whatever. There was some crazy stuff, but I mean, I saw August Underground, okay? I've seen a Serbian film. Nothing in Hereditary was anything like that. Thankfully, it wasn't, but still. And then it has the same fucking stupid ending that all of these fucking pretentious horror movies have, that everyone fucking wanks off at and is celebrating like it's fucking amazing, or the second coming of Christ, where everyone fucking dies and the evil wins. So yeah, if I spoiled it, I don't give a shit.
Nowadays. That's what my horror movies are nowadays. Really, I'll stick with Jacob's Ladder,
But that's what horror's supposed
which I
to
know
be,
they're
Matt.
remaking that one too.
That's
Probably
what
do the same
real
thing.
horror, according to these real horror fans, is supposed to be. You know, it's always an
And what
unhappy
the fuck
ending.
is The Shining?
Yeah.
The Shining,
Yeah.
Stanley Kubrick. That's a real horror. The Changeling,
Yeah.
Dorsey Scott.
Well, The Shining
That's a real
hasn't. Shining
horror
does have a
movie.
downbeat ending, but it earns it. See, that's the thing. It earns that. I
I
hate
don't.
these fucking horror
I didn't really think
films.
it's downbeat because I don't think The Shining's downbeat because in the fact that the girl and the kid make
Yeah,
it
you're
out.
right. Yeah, not
It's the
everybody
safety.
dies, so there's that for sure.
I mean, I mean, that's how I look as down. I mean, yeah, if you like Jack Nicholson, yeah,
Yeah.
but the girl and the kid make it out, the safety, and
Yeah.
the Changeling, Jacob's Ladder. I don't even think Jacob's Ladder is a downbeat ending, really.
I don't either. It's
It is. It
actually
depends how you look at it, kind of like what Danny Aiello says.
yeah, I love his line.
How
The
you
quote
look
that
at it.
Danny Aiello says. That's how I interpret the film as. It's his way. The film's a whole journey of Jacob letting go. Oh, and they're gonna remake that
Which
too.
I know
So
someone
that's another
mentioned.
one.
Which someone told me that I knew about that long ago because I swear they were started filming like 2016.
Yeah, weren't they
It's
gonna
not
do
out
one with
yet?
like Tyler Perry or somebody?
That
who-
shows how good it is.
Is gonna be like a
Not Tyler
black.
Perry. It's an acting. No, it's like a action thriller.
Oh, that doesn't work. Jacob's Ladder is not an action thriller. There's no action. It's not an action film.
I don't know. It's fucking Hollywood.
Well, I mean, speaking of them not coming up with ideas, let's look at Terminator 6. I mean, yeah, Terminator Genesis was so great that we need another one. We asked for another one. No. Linda
It is the
Hamilton's
James
back.
Cameron.
I don't care. I don't care if
James
Linda
Cameron
Hamilton
loved
is
it.
back. She's back.
James Cameron
Wow.
loves Terminator.
Wow, Linda Hamilton is back. Whoop-de fucking do. Is the story going to be anything
But
worth
James
a shit?
Cameron's produced. But James Cameron's producing, who loved Terminator Genesis, and said that's the real Terminator 3.
Jimmy Cammey hasn't made anything worth the shit since the Titanic sank, and his balls sank along with it. So, balls sunk along with it. There we go. I'll make
No,
sure
I
to
think
use
Linda
proper
Hamilton
grammar.
got the balls in the divorce. Linda Hamilton got the balls in the divorce when she divorced Jimmy Cammey, and then his
Yeah.
talent went with the Titanic. They sank at the same time.
Yeah, and
Fuck
there,
Titanic.
I would rather
Fuck that
Jimmy
car.
Cammey pass
You-
off The Abyss and True Lies to somebody who actually fucking do it and remaster the films properly and get those out in Blu-ray. That's what I'd rather happen instead of another fucking Terminator movie. There's nothing else they could do. Like, what the I mean, they already fucked over the previous films with all these other sequels. Genesis made the first film a fucking joke by shooting the original Terminator in the chest and killing it in one shot. You had the fucking bullshit with T3, which is like Judgment Day is inevitable. So, I mean, it's been fucked up ever since Terminator 3. Salvation is the lone film in the franchise in terms of a newer Terminator film after T2 that I can deal with because it's a prequel. It's not. It doesn't even tie in to. It does
Yes.
tie into things, but it's more of a prequel than a sequel.
It's a separate film.
Yeah,
Really, it
yeah.
sort of its separate film, its own thing, where it's not trying to sit. I mean, it is, but it's its own separate thing.
And then you
It
fuck
doesn't
over things
fuck
by making
around
John
with
Connor a Terminator.
1 or 2.
I mean, that's like if you did a RoboCop sequel, and Peter Weller's RoboCop is evil, and there's a new RoboCop that's built, or
Well,
they bring.
didn't he die in a comic you told me about?
Yeah, he did. That
RoboCop.
fucking Terminator, RoboCop, kill human, kill the fucking writer who wrote that shit. Yeah, he did become kind of evil in that because
Well,
he's
not
trying
literally.
because he's trying to kill off John Connor or something. Yeah.
Hmm.
But
Well,
that
not literally kill the writer, but it's just
no, I mean I was joking, folks. I was making a pun
I know,
based on the title. Really, though, that
that's the
comic
thing nowadays.
is shit.
You have to.
It is
mention
so
it.
bad, folks. I mean, if you're a fan
Yeah.
of either franchise, avoid it like the plague. RoboCop
But the
drowns.
thing is with these things, with the Terminator 6 or going back to the Ninja Turtles thing, like I remember reading the other day that Jordan Peele, right?
Yeah.
Uh, he wants to do Gargoyles,
Huh.
the TV show, into a
Cool.
movie. And Disney said no. And because first they're like, well, how do you turn down Jordan Peele?
Yeah.
Well, who must be responsible for that? But then they're like, well, maybe we'll reach out to them. But it's like, no, you're slow walking him because you hope he'll get another project, and then the project will fade away, and he'll forget about it. So, pretty much Disney said no. But yeah, Michael Bay could get a third shot at Ninja Turtles, but Jordan Peele, who did a damn good movie in Get Out, he can't you can't do gargoyles
That's
into a movie.
nuts.
But Michael Bay, I know that's Hollywood. I know Disney and Paramount are two different things. I'm just saying that's Hollywood. Jordan Peele turned down to do a gargoyles, but Michael Bay could have a third shot at producing another shitty Ninja Turtles film. So we did a trifecta of shit. That's fucking Hollywood in a nutshell. It's fucking Hollywood.
That's
Michael Bay gets
really
3 chances now, but Jordan Peele can't get 1 chance.
that's
See, there
nuts.
you go.
Well, I mean,
Fucking Disney
look at
wants. I love how Disney, with The Last Jedi, we're so into sex and race, and I would love for someone. You know how they call Last Jedi dislikers racist?
yeah.
I would love for someone to go, well, they're racist. You won't hire Jordan Peele because he's black to do a gargoyles. Is that it, Disney? I wish someone would do that just to fuck with them. Well, you said no to Jordan Peele. You're fucking racist, Disney. I would love that, to be one of these crazy motherfuckers to do that shit. I would love to do that. This just shows the insanity, though. Man.
Yeah, we'll do Ruin Johnson's fucking troll Star Wars trilogy, where he's gonna deconstruct even more of the Star Wars mythos, just to troll people.
But Jordan Peele can't do a movie based on the cartoon Gargoyles.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, Disney. I'm not surprised because Disney doesn't give a shit about gargoyles. I mean, for years they didn't even release the one of the seasons. You know, it took forever for fans to even get the final complete series. So Disney just finally dumped it.
Well, to be honest, let's be honest, they don't give a fuck about Star Wars either based on what they've released.
No, Disney's all about money. That's why that's why I did not like the fact that they bought Lucasfilm, and why I'm worried about them buying Fox.
But Gargoyles, directed by Jordan Peele, would make money.
Yeah.
That's how Disney's stupid. Look at Black Panther made money. That's not a big character, so it's not like if it's lesser known, it won't make money. Black Panther proved that. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Black Panther, but I gotta give credit that it did make a lot of money, and that's a character that's not the most well known. So I give credit to that. So Disney has no excuse for saying no to Jordan Peele. No excuse. Other than they're morons. Or maybe Jordan Peele won't suck their dick like Ryan Johnson does. He won't, sorry, he won't suck Mickey Mouse's dick. I'm sorry. Or it's like Mickey Mouse wants to do a bowling ball on him with his 3 fingers. Sorry, Mickey. I won't let you do that.
I just saw a
So
screenshot of the
no.
fucking preschool Rocketeer shit. They're trying to evoke some nostalgia because of the fact that they got this in the hangar. And there might be like a BG and the helicopter thing and the gyrocopter or a BG plane, and it's on the airfield. Fuck that shit. Preschool Rocketeer. Can you give me a Blu-ray with features, but you'll give me Preschool Rocketeer cartoon and nobody fucking cares about, nobody asks for, nobody wants. Yeah. Great. Wonderful. That's Disney again. No, I was worried about Disney with Lucasfilm because I knew that they were all about money. It's all about the bottom line with Iger and Disney. It's all about marketing and money. That's their main thing. Storytelling, quality of the film is second or third or fourth down the list. It's not the first thing. It seems to be a lot of stuff in Hollywood now. And yes, before anyone says, well, yeah, they always wanted to make money. Yeah, but it seemed like in the past they did put an emphasis on, actually giving a shit about the project or having a story that was worth putting on film, or having directors who were really passionate about making the films and not just having yes men. See, there's a lot of that too. Like, there's too many of those directors nowadays who just fucking yes sir, yes ma'am, okay, all right. And the whole thing too, where they can't take a lot of risks, because if they fuck up and do a risky move and it bombs, they're not going to ever work again. So a lot of them just play it safe because that's the way that they can keep their job, which is sad. But with Lucasfilm, yeah, I was worried about them just milking the Star Wars tit until it ran dry, and that's going to happen. It's inevitable. And now with them owning Fox, I'm not looking forward to that. And a lot of people are saying that, oh, well, they've handled our studios in the past. Oh, like Lucasfilm, they're doing such a great job at Lucasfilm. What about Marvel? Marvel was already successful before Disney came along. There are Marvel MCU fans. I'm not speaking for all of them, but there are some who actually think, before I had to correct them, that Disney was the one that made it was a risk with the MCU, and Disney took the risk, and the MCU was successful because of Disney and everything, and that's totally not correct at all in the slightest. Marvel had the MCU going before Disney even bought Marvel. You had their deal with Paramount, and they were releasing the films through Paramount and Universal. Incredible Hulk was released through Universal. Paramount released Captain America: The First Avenger, Iron Man, Iron Man 2. They even had a distribution deal with the Avengers that they shared with Disney. So Disney is not the sole entity responsible for the MCU success. Kevin Feige and company were around doing all that and had everything set up in place, at least for phase 1, before Disney even came along and bought Marvel. And Disney, they're just riding the coattails. Disney just bought Marvel, let Kevin Feige and company do what they wanted to do, kept him happy, and they're raking in the cash, and raking in the reviews, and raking in all of this shit. It's not like Iger and Disney really did that much, except stand aside and let Marvel do what they want to do with their film series, instead of what they're doing with the comic, which is ruining it with fucking social justice, politics, and other bullshit. So Marvel Comics is failing and is flagging, while Marvel, the film industry aspect of it, is as successful as ever. But for me personally, with the MCU, with Marvel films, they are really starting to get stale for me. And it's understandable. Look at how many have been made. It's been a ridiculous amount already. And they come out what seems like every month, or at least 4 or 5 every year. And for me, and they keep using the same formula. Yes, they do change some things here and there and take some chances. I'll give them credit for that. But there's not going to be any Deadpool or Logan or anything risky like that. Disney would have never made Logan if they had X-Men, if they had the rights to Wolverine. Never would have happened in a million fucking years. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. And then the whole thing with, okay, they got Fox. Well, and look what they're doing with Marvel. They're failing with Lucasfilm. And if I look at their past, they've already been known to meddle in their other studios. Judge Dredd with Stallone is notorious for being meddled with by Disney. And Disney at the time was owned Hollywood Pictures. And Danny Cannon and company could not make the film they wanted to make because Disney kept butting in and wanting stuff cut out, wanting things removed, wanting stuff, all this and stuff going on. And Stallone was also on board with it too because he wanted more money or something. I don't know, because PG-13 was the initial thought process, but it still was rated R. But Danny Cannon, understandably, because he's a huge fan of the comic, 2000 AD and Judge Dredd, he wanted it to be a hard R. You know, like RoboCop, the 1987 film, which is really what it should have been in the first place. Which goes full circle because Ed Neumeyer and I'm trying to remember the guy's name, but the writers of RoboCop, they initially wanted to do a Judge Dredd film, but they couldn't get the rights. So they decided to do their own version of a Judge Dredd type movie with RoboCop. And the rest is history. But yeah, they've already known to meddle in stuff like that. They meddled in things before, and they shuttered Miramax because it wasn't profitable for them anymore. I would not be surprised if years down the road, Fox Searchlight isn't making money, and they just shutter the company. The other stuff involved with the other studios. I mean, look what Deadpool 2 had to remove a joke about Disney recently. They had to remove a joke about Disney. That shows that Disney was already throwing its weight around before it even ended up owning Fox. Also, with Disney, they're notorious about the brand. Their brand is brand, and brand recognition, and so on and so forth. And I fear that everyone being in the MCU is not this peaches and cream, amazing, cool thing that a lot of people say it is. I think it's going to cripple a lot of creativity. And I know Fox has fucked up with a lot of X-Men films lately, but I don't see a homogenized cookie-cutter X-Men series to be the better alternative. I really don't. But that's just me personally. And I just don't trust Disney with this. I don't. Like, they how many fucking cooks are they going to have in the kitchen here? How are they going to be able to handle all of this? This is unprecedented to have one company taking a hold of and controlling all of these different assets at once. Something's bound to go wrong because you're just going to have Bob Iger sit back. Either he's going to sit back and let the nuts run the nut house, or he's going to just try to get involved too much. It's just one of those things where I don't know how they're going to be able to pull this off. They didn't pull it off that well when they owned Hollywood Pictures and Touchstone. Touchstone is still around, but just barely. Like, have you heard of very many recent Touchstone Pictures films, Matt? No.
I didn't know Touchstone was still around. I thought it was done.
I think it is still around, but there's just not very many films. And I know people are saying, well, they'll still release R-rated films, and they'll still do stuff like that. But the thing is, now you have one entity and one corporation in control of pretty much close to half the film industry. And that's going to make it so a lot of different projects and a lot of different stories are not going to be told because of whatever initial biases or whatever, and so on and so forth. There's less options now available than there were in the past. Projects that might have gotten studios to agree to make them in the past that were turned down by Disney or some of these other companies now are going to have to sacrifice a lot of things in order to get their film made, or just aren't going to get it made, period, because there's going to be it's a monopoly. And a lot of the same people who were involved at Disney at the time when they were spearheading and helping out with Hollywood Pictures and Company and the other companies under their banner, they're for all I know, they're no longer at Disney. So you have people who are going to be handling Fox and handling these other companies that don't have that much experience in doing that. And there's a lot of people who are saying, like, they have previous experience about doing this. Yeah, but there's no guarantee that the same people who have that experience are going to be the ones that are going to be taking over and foreseeing everything. So that's why I'm extremely leery about it, because you got inexperienced people in charge of trying to juggle all these different balls and all these different companies. And then also, it wasn't really just about the MCU, folks. They wanted Fox so they could have it for their streaming library, because they're going to try to create a new streaming platform to compete with Netflix, which is a whole nother problem. Everything's going to go streaming. You know, in the past, Netflix was something unique. Now there's all these different competitors, and now everything's becoming, running together. And it's one of those things that I'm also very leery of that. The future of like, just here's all these different fucking platforms you got to pay for a monthly fee to be able to stream all this stuff, and it's cool, but at the same time it's kind of not, you know, because everything's going to be split off and all these different platforms and everything. And also, when it comes to home video, Disney is notoriously awful with Blu-rays and DVDs. Look at some films only finally got releases through their Disney Movie Club. Did not get official releases and got no features, no anything, nothing whatsoever. Like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is a huge hit. It even got a theme park attraction at Disneyland, at Disney World, and a TV series. Blu-ray, bare bones. Finally, they release in widescreen. It's about damn time, but bare bones. No commentary, Joe Johnston. No nothing. No interviews. Absolutely jack shit. Because Disney doesn't care about that stuff unless it's a beloved animated classic or a newer film. So, you better be ready for some really bare bones, lazy, half-ass fucking releases of Fox movies under their watch. And Fox hasn't been doing that great of a job lately, right now, anyway. And if you ask me, it could get a lot worse. So that's my rant on Disney and the monopoly, Mickey's monopoly. If you have anything else to add, you can go right ahead. I just had to get that off my chest.
No, you pretty much said it. Exclamation point.
If you think it's going to be great, cool, teach their own. I'm extremely leery of it. I mean, I was already leery before they bought Lucasfilm, and for me personally, it seems a lot of my concerns have been justified. So that's another thing that makes me really worried about what the ramifications of this are. I mean, the ramifications of AT&T and Time Warner merging is pretty big, and so are all of this stuff with Disney owning everything. I think a lot of people are not, they're so caught up in the now, and they're so caught up in instant gratification and the fact that, oh my god, yes, X-Men and Fantastic Four and then are in the MCU, they're gonna be in the MCU, that they don't really see how damaging this can be for Hollywood as general. In general, they don't see the damage that can be done, and I don't think they care, which scares me.
Just have Disney buy everything, let it burn to the ground. Then maybe from the ashes, they can rethink and do better. Now, that's the thing, like, people are like, well, wait a minute, I thought you guys liked, for example, Marvel films.
We do.
One, we don't like every single one of them.
No.
And two, even if you call it a winning streak, you know what happens with a winning streak? Eventually you lose.
Well, yeah, I mean,
with every winning streak, eventually there's a loss.
I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, and for decades, the team was on the top, you know? Winning multiple playoff games, winning multiple Super Bowls. Like, Cowboys fans, you know, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, like, they were spoiled because you had a team that was always competing for a ring in the 70s. You had, and broke records in terms of multiple playoff berths and victories. In the 80s, they were still competitive, at least in the early to mid 80s, you know, with Danny White and other guys like that. Then in the 90s, you had the dynasty with the triplets of Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin and that defense and Jimmy Johnson coaching. And then after that, it hasn't been as nearly as successful. They haven't won a Super Bowl since 1995. They haven't even made a Super Bowl since 1995. They've haven't made it past the second round in the playoffs since 1995. So it's one of those things where it's been a lot of, they're not successful. They're not at the top. They're more losing streaks. The records haven't been as bad as the Browns lately, but you know, you can tell that to some of the spoiled Cowboys fans because they probably agree. They'd say otherwise. They'd say it's worse because of what the Dallas did in the past. But the thing is, it's a prime example of that, where you're on a winning streak and have been on one for years, and then it's not happening anymore, and so you have to come to terms with that. and eventually stuff's gonna, there's gonna be a bomb. One film's not gonna make it. It's not gonna do that well or something. Or maybe a series of bombs. Maybe they'll try to rearrange or rethink things. Every win streak comes to an end eventually. So I hate to break it to some of the MCU fans out there. It's eventually gonna come crashing down. It always does.
It kind of did for me personally because I don't give a shit. I mean, Ant-Man 2, sure, but not letting to go to theaters.
Yeah.
Like, when I look at that, I mean, Spider-Man Homecoming, I mean, I if I did that review today, I don't know if it'd be a range or not. I like the lead guy who plays Spider-Man. That's really the main thing I like in Michael Keaton, but is it a good movie? No. When you think about it, no. Really? Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, I liked it, but it was a letdown from the first one. I don't think it was as good.
I don't think the
Thor
humor was
Ragnarok,
as...
I liked it.
The humor wasn't as funny. It wasn't as natural. There were a few moments where it was good, it was pretty, it made me crack up. But there were a few other ones that just didn't quite click. I thought it focused a lot on dramatic aspects. I thought it was a little bit too much at times, but and the action wasn't as good. But it was still a decent film, still a solid sequel. Thor Ragnarok,
And
I wasn't really big
fuck
on.
Black Panther.
I wasn't really big on Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, okay. I probably liked it a bit more than you, but its comedy was a bit too much. And the whole Planet Hulk story was kind of wasted.
It was. That's one of the big
And
reasons why
that's disappointing.
I wasn't super big on it, because I would have rather them just done a Planet Hulk movie.
Which they should have. It makes no sense why they don't. But they have stupid reasons. It's Hollywood. They always have stupid reasons. And fuck Black Panther. I can speak for myself. And I don't give a fuck about the new Avengers. I don't give a fuck about a movie where, from what I heard, bullshit and fucking good chunk dies at the end for a cliffhanger ending.
Yeah, and Star-Lord's...
And it's not a spoiler because everyone's seen the fucking movie.
Yeah, and Star-Lord is an emotional dumbass, apparently. That's what I remember hearing about.
It's fucking moral. Why do I need... Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. It's funny, people call us MC fanboys. Yeah, we're talking like this because we call it like we see it.
Yep.
Our opinion.